Hey guys, it's Kyle here from Amen Auto, and today we have this Ford Bronco Black Diamond out on this off-road course in the Mojave Desert. We're about a mile or two off the main trail. We're at Red Rock National Park, and I thought this was just a great spot to stop, review this vehicle. We just drove about 50 miles on the highway to the park, driven at about 5-10 miles in the park, a couple miles off-road. Here it looks pretty unassuming, it's just kind of gravel. But if you could see down there, it gets kind of rough. This is not a path that your Honda CR-V could go on. Trucks, anything lifted would do fine, but this was not just a typical crossover trail. But let's talk about the Bronco. At first I hated this car, and it's growing on me. Let's talk about what this trim level is. This is a Ford Bronco Black Diamond. If you are a Jeep Wrangler fan, this is almost akin to a Jeep Willys trim. So it's an off-road trim, but it's not the full Badlands or Sasquatch. It's like an off-road light package above a base. So you do get these off-road tires. You do get these smaller off-road. These are beadlock look wheels. These aren't actual beadlock capable wheels, but they still look sharp. The Black Diamond also gives you the steel modular bumper. You have these ties right here. The idea is you can tie a rope to there, which keeps branches off the the windshield. Never seen someone actually use that, but that's the idea behind it. And this one is the soft top. A couple hinges in there. This flips up, works out really nice. It's a little hot out here today, so we've actually just been running the air conditioner, but otherwise it's a very convenient option. This does have a matte black option, and this does have a Ford Performance exhaust. This has the 2.3 liter turbo 4. I actually think it sounds really bad, you guys. I would not recommend putting a Ford Performance exhaust on this car. It sounds like a droney 4-cylinder. I don't really like it. But this matte black paint, I believe, is stock. I don't want to be quoted. At first I swore it was a wrap, but then you can see we've been off-roading and look at all that dust. But I don't know. I can't tell if it's a wrap or not. The owner says it's a very rare black metallic or black matte option. So I'm going to take her word for it and say that it is stock from the factory like this. This does have a little bit of aftermarket mods. They put the Raptor lights, more so clearance lights on here. It's not needed, but with the aftermarket grille, it does look nice. This has the upgraded LED headlights. If you get the base Bronco, you just get the normal LED in there, but you don't get the daytime signature light. This does have the 2.3 liter turbo 4. Very dirty in here. You can tell this car lives its life in the desert. This makes about 275 horsepower, 325 pound-feet of torque. It sounds bad. It doesn't sound very good. Like I said, I don't know why there's an exhaust on here, but the performance is actually okay. 0 to 60 probably feels like it's in the 8s, but it's not much off any other off-roaders like a Ford Ranger even, or a Jeep Wrangler. But let's jump on the inside, you guys. There's a lot of cool, bad, and terrible stuff inside. We're going to start with the back, though, because that's where I think it's the weirdest part. So when you get this soft top, I don't believe, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm sure some Bronco fans will yell at me in the comment possibly, you can open up this back, and this is very welcome. This is a strut. I bring that to attention because Jeep does not have that. The Wrangler does not have this gas strut. When you have a big tailgate with a massive, 50-pound, 60-pound tire on the back, that strut can actually be really nice. It's a nice little quality of life touch. I like that a lot. Just shows that there's some attention to detail here. Cargo area is all right in here. The reason I have to bend down for you guys is I am pretty sure there's no way to open this. There's Velcro, and you can take this out. But if you want to quickly open this and put something in, I don't really think there's any option here. There's latches here, but that's to take the whole thing off. So I have to kind of show you from this weird angle. That's interesting. But back here you have, I like this Ford light right here. You have a 12-volt outlet. Nothing too fancy. Some extra storage in here. You do have tie downs. I like that. Most crossovers won't have that. And underneath, you don't obviously have your spare tire, but you have your jack stand in here and just a little extra storage compartment right there. Otherwise, it's a pretty no-nonsense interior. Nothing fancy going on back here other than that strut. I really do like that. Let's jump in the back seat, and I'll show you guys what is a big bonus over the Wrangler. So, jumping in the back of the Bronco, first thing I'm going to show is this door. It is styled really nice, but everything is super cheap. It's going to be a theme of this car. This is nice and textured. That's not even rubber, just cheap plastic. This is soft touch. That is kind of nice. It feels very hot in the summer. This is just, it almost reminds me of like early 2000s Ford GM. You can even see that texture. There's a lift handle here because these doors come off just like a Jeep Wrangler. That's a lift point. I like that. Nice attention to detail. You got a net in here in your cup holder. Kind of cool. And the back here, you actually have, you can see there's a carabiner here. You can actually load stuff down onto this. So if you're like overlanding or anything, that's a really nice touch. I like the net here. That's kind of cool. And down here, notice it says no step right there. You do have some amenities. You have a power outlet in here, USB-C and A, and a 12 volt, or a normal household, I'm sorry, and automatic down for the back seats, or back windows. That's very nice. Otherwise, back here, it's very spacious. I like the grab handle because this vehicle is pretty high off the ground, short people like myself. And this is where I'm driving with it, and there's tons of legroom. This is more than a Jeep Wrangler. I say that because we have a Jeep Wrangler 4xe, so this is much improved compared to that in terms of just rear seat space. Very comfortable back here. This does have the bimini top, which means you can have the top open, but you still have like this mesh. So that's kind of a, you know, a nice option. These seats are very comfortable. There is no, to my understanding, center pull down like for a cup holder. Our Jeep Wrangler has that. A little disappointed this one doesn't. Kind of an odd omission. I think that's kind of a missed opportunity there. Jeep Wrangler does it. I feel like you almost have to do it. But otherwise, it's a nice back seat. No nonsense. Let's jump up to the front. That's where a lot of stuff's going on. And I can show you guys the roof in a little bit and then give you an overall opinion. So before we hop in the driver's seat, I want to show you guys this key. This is the Ford corporate fob. It's the same as a 2016 Ford Fusion. I wish Ford would have stepped it up a little bit. I do like that it says Bronco. Makes you feel a little special. But otherwise, it's just a normal key fob. You know, if you get a Jeep Wrangler, I hate to keep bringing that up, but that is this vehicle's competitor, obviously. It's the only Jeep Wrangler competitor. And so Jeep has a nice special looking key. This is just a basic Ford key. Another missed opportunity, I thought. But you do have the keyless access, and even old school, if you need to manually unlock your car, some off-roaders like that. Looking at the door here, it's the exact same as the front. You have your textured right there, and just the net here, more texture. All just crappy black plastic though, not a fan. I don't know if that's a joke or not. I'm pretty sure the owner did that as a joke, but it does say Wrangler there. I think that's actually hilarious. Manual seats. Let me jump in so this thing stops beeping at us. So something you guys are gonna notice, I'm gonna fire this up, and the first thing you'll see is it does play this cool animation. Well, it's supposed to. I'm sorry it didn't. When you start it up from a cold start, it plays a really cool Bronco animation, and in the gauge. I think that's a really cool touch. The Wrangler doesn't quite have that. I like that. But there's so much to go over, so I'm gonna start with what's right in front of us. This steering wheel is nice. I do want to point out, this has 42,370 miles on it. We've put about 80 miles on it total, so do want to point out, this is a pretty used Bronco. For 2022, this is a lot of miles for a 2-year-old Bronco. The steering wheel is not aged nice. This leather is super slippery. I was actually driving with it, and it'll slip in your hand. You guys can see that? It just slips. So I do want, you know, this thing doesn't seem to age very well. At least from some quality standpoint. I do love this grab handle right here. Nice touch. You got your lights down here. You do have no adaptive cruise on this black diamond trim. I'm pretty sure that's like a high option package, but you do have lane keep assist, which is nice. You do have analog speedometer, which I honestly don't know why it's there, but you do have a digital cluster right here. It does show your RPM. You can see that. You can hear the engine. Has a Ford Performance exhaust. I don't think it sounds good. I think it's trying to be something it's not, but for those of you who want it, it's an option. And it shows the miles per hour. And right here's the only part that's configurable. Again, I hate when manufacturers have a digital gauge cluster and it's not configurable. So using these arrows right here on the steering wheel, you can kind of just go through your options. Right here, fuel economy, you can see 17.1. Considering this is the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder and not the V6, that's disappointing. I cannot imagine what the V6 gets for fuel economy. My guess would be you'd be lucky to get 15 miles per gallon, considering how this has been treating us. But you can look down. You can look at your trip, of course. tire pressures, right now it's in bars. I found that interesting. You can look at, it has a boost gauge. Let's see if I can get it to at idle. It doesn't really go, but I got it to go when we're driving before, so that does work, trust me. And your oil temperature, which I think is cool for an off-roader, and transmission temperature. Again, cool stuff for an off-roader. And back to your radio. Overall, it's okay. I think it looks nice, but it's just, I'm sick of, why go digital if you're just gonna not make it really configurable? It's just kind of there to be there. Kind of weird, but it does look nice. I can't fault them for that. Do love this Bronco on the steering wheel. Looks very cool. You know, instead of a Ford badge, they do that. I almost wish Jeep would do something similar, like put Wrangler on their steering wheel versus Jeep. Some Jeep faithful might yell at me for that, but going here, this is the smaller 8-inch screen. You can see where if you step up to a high package, you would get a 12-inch screen. That being said, this 8-inch screen is very nice. It's very responsive. It's very quick to the touch. Like here, I go through settings, you can click right through it. It can give you over-the-air updates, to my understanding. I do not have that confirmed, but when I looked it up, I believe it does. It has Ford Assistant, some voice assistant, Amazon Alexa is built in, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto Wireless. It's all here. It all works very nice. You got your owner's manual built in, driver assistance. Nothing too fancy, though. I was a little disappointed that in a Jeep, you can have like 6 gauges all here at the same time. This, to my understanding, I didn't find it unless it's very buried. Like vehicle settings, you can go through all this, but there's otherwise no like off-road pages, which the Jeep has. But speaking of off-road pages, let me show you these infamous GOAT modes. GOAT stands for go over any terrain. You can see your 4 low, 2 high, 4 high. That's like an off-road cruise control. But the cool thing is when you cycle through these GOAT modes, you get very cool animations. You know, this is stuff that sells vehicles to people. Eco mode, sport mode. These are really high quality graphics and animations. I think they look very sharp. Mud and ruts, you can see it automatically when I put it in a mode. It turned off the traction control. It says off-road use only. It automatically activated the locker and it automatically put it in 4 high. So when you put it in these modes, these aren't just for show. These are legitimate. You know, it's dramatically changing the behavior of the car. There's a sport mode. Don't know the point in sport mode. We've been driving for the most part normal. You know, it drives okay. This drives a lot bigger than a Jeep Wrangler. Keep that in mind. I'm going over here. I do like these. Your rear locker. This is your trail turn assist. So what it means is when you're at full lock with the steering wheel, it breaks the inner wheels so you can turn on a dime faster, which is a really nice feature. Some other brands are actually copying that now. I believe Mercedes is one of them, actually. You have your hazards and your traction management right there. Going down here, nothing too fancy. I do like how everything is, you know, there's real buttons here. The only thing my wife hates is you hit this, you have to adjust where it's going, you have to hit a button and then go up to the screen. It's weird that they put all of the climate controls as manual, except for that feature. That's kind of weird. They have space here. There's plenty of black here. So I don't know why it's not there. Otherwise, I do like this badge here. Let me see if I can get a good look for you guys. It says, designed and engineered in Dearborn, Michigan, and it's built at Michigan Assembly Plant. Ford is very proud of this vehicle. It's been out for a few years now. They're proud that it's made in America, designed in America. I like that they have a little plaque there. You know, kind of just gives you a little American pride when you get in. And that includes right here, you got a American flag on that steering wheel. Don't know if you guys can quite see, or not steering wheel, there's gear lever along with the Ford Bronco. This feels very beefy when you put it in and out of gear. I like that in a vehicle like this. Stop giving us little rotary dials to switch gears in a vehicle like this. Manual shifting is available. It's not that responsive. Here is where your window controls are, mirror controls. They try to keep the stuff off the door because the doors do come off. They want to make it as easy as possible, the least amount of wiring as possible. Up here with the black diamond, you get these 6 auxiliary switches. These are very satisfying. I'm not gonna lie, I can play with these all day. There's 6 of them. That's notable because if you get the Jeep, you only get 4. They're down here. This one has 6, and I honestly feel like these switches feel cooler than the buttons. I'm gonna quickly head up on the roof. We're not taking it off because it's so simple. You guys will get the picture. You pull these 2 latches. It's just one here and the one right over there, and then you just push this up and it flips back. It's that simple. There's no more explaining to it. I really like that. They make it very, very easy for soft top owners. The bad thing about the soft top is this thing is extremely loud on the highway. Do not buy this vehicle if you are commuting a lot on the highway. And if you are coming from Honda CR-V and you're like, oh, I want a Bronco, it's something cool, it's something fun, you will not like this on the highway. Be prepared. It's very loud in here with this soft top. It's just and maybe not the best choice for you, but it is a very fun vehicle. We were driving in Vegas before, right down the strip, popped this roof open. It was kind of a cool experience, I can't lie. Otherwise, the rest of this interior is honestly cheap. That's, I like these blue accents here. They try to make it a little fun, but here, I'm gonna show you guys something. Look at that wobble. This is a 2-year-old vehicle. The whole dash has significant flex to it. You don't need to put much pressure on it. I mean, your 2 fingers, you can wiggle this dashboard. This is just a giant swath of black plastic. Big old swath of black plastic, a little bit of rubber here. This is all just rubber, scratchy, 2000s GM Ford plastic, glossy, shiny plastic. The seats are the only saving grace, I think, of this interior. These seats they look good, and they honestly are way more comfortable than the Wranglers. Wranglers are hard, they're narrower. This is a better seat for long-term driving. So, this car, between the leather that's worn, the flimsy, build quality, and when I'm driving down the highway, this hood flutters quite often. The build quality just doesn't quite seem there. Lots of space up here, which is nice for phones. You can see all the indents, and that's actually a GoPro mount right here. It says accessory ready. You can see that. But this interior just, if you get in a Jeep Wrangler, it just feels so much better put together. Our Jeep Wrangler has 50,000 miles on it. I'm going to be posting a long-term review of that soon, and it feels screwed together way better than this car. That's not an exaggeration. Let me step out. I'll give you guys a roundup of this vehicle, okay? So now that I've ranted about and trashed the interior of this vehicle, what should you buy this? The sticker price on this car, the owner didn't tell me. I did rent this car off Turo, but building one of these online in 2022, this probably would have been about $48,000 to $44,000. It looks like it has a couple little upgrade packages, but overall, it's a relatively base model. Still have heated seats, but if you get a hard top, it's about $2,000. If you got the bigger screen package with the premium sound, it'd be another $2,000 to $3,000. These are right in line with Jeeps. A Jeep Wrangler is a little bit of a smaller vehicle. This drives more like a truck, where the Jeep Wrangler drives more like an SUV. That's a little more rough around the edges. If it were my money, you guys, I get the Bronco's the cool new thing, but it's not really anymore. This has been out for 3 years. I would still go with a Jeep. You can call me biased, but we've had ours for 50,000 miles. And even though this thing was a hoot to off-road, even though we're in this desert and I'm kind of on a high with this car right now, I don't think I'd want to take it home. The build quality just isn't there. There's rattles, there's squeaks, the dashboard flexes, the leather on the steering wheel is glossy, and this thing only has 43,000 miles on it. I know that's 43,000 probably hard miles, it's a rental, but I just don't think there's an excuse. Ford has improved the build quality for the 2024 model year. Maybe I could give it a recommend. Otherwise, it's still a cool, badass vehicle. We've already had a person walk up and compliment it and talk to me about it. But at the end of the day, you're paying 50 grand for a vehicle. You want more than just looks, in my opinion. You want a little more substance, and I think it's missing a little substance. It feels a little hollow. And also that 4-cylinder, the power is good, but the fuel economy is so bad. Looking at the long-term trip's at 16.5 miles per gallon. So to me, just at that point, get the V6. You'll lose 2 or 3 miles per gallon, but so what? Then you'll have the V6. Well, on that note, guys, I'll show you guys this lizard that's crossing the road. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.